to get the most critical patients into the ambulances and on the way to the local trauma centers. In Portland, we're lucky. We have 2 trauma centers in our area. We have Emmanuel Hospital and also OHSU. These patients now are going to be in a race for their lives and also to try to hang on until they can get to life-saving measures at the hospitals. As you can see, we still have 1 patient left to go. They've taken a lot of great care to make sure that they get her out, get her on a board, get her taken care of. One of the things that you have to remember when we live in a small area like Milwaukee, and through the miracles of modern technology, texting, cell phones, information travels faster than ever before. A lot of times now on scenes, we come in and we get family members ending up on scenes with us because of the electronic technology that we have today. But also the electronic technology is also one of the reasons these things happen. It's the radio in your car, the GPS, the texting, the phones, all those things. Added in with that, if you've been drinking or taking drugs or having some kind of other things going on in the car, this is the kind of stuff that happens. And it happens daily. This young lady, when we get her all put together and put in the back of the ambulance, what ends up happening to her on the way to the hospital, they will take and strip all the clothes off of her. They'll find out if she has any more fractures, any injuries or anything. They will take 2 large bore IVs. They'll stick 1 in each arm to be able to give life-saving fluids just in case there's any kind of problems with any kind of bleeding out internally by her spleen or liver. When she gets to the hospital, there'll be a deluge of nurses and doctors in the trauma room, and they will check her from absolutely every hair follicle all the way to the tips of her toes. They will take pictures, they will take CT scans, they will do everything they can to make sure that they don't miss any injuries on this young lady. Even though they do all that life-saving information, it can't fix a broken spine. It can't fix neurodeficits. These are the kind of things that the best doctors in the best trauma centers in the world can't fix. You'll find out in the bios later where everybody in this crash ends up. As you can see, now that we've gotten all of the viable patients off of the scene, the firefighters and the police officers now have the grisly task of doing a couple of things. 1, notifying families. 2, recreating this crash, because this is going to be in court. Guarantee you, as I'm standing here today, this is going to end up with fatalities. This is going to end up in legal litigation. It's going to cost millions of dollars. So, and now, what these people have to do is preserve a crime scene while the police officers, the recreation people come out, they take pictures. I'm sure you've been on your way somewhere and the freeway's been closed down for 4 hours. This is why it gets closed down for 4 hours right here.
I've seen a yellow person that died with a yellow envelope before. It was really
So we've got our last ambulance leaving the scene.
Are they really in the back of the ambulance? Mm-hmm. That's cool.
We have a couple of people we'd like to have share some stories with you. Marty Wilkins is our first person I'd like to share a little information. I'd like you to please pay attention to these people. They've taken time out of their day to tell stories that are probably a little hard for them to do, okay?
Gotta be honest with you, when I've seen this particular assembly a couple of times before, and this is the absolutely most devastating one that I've seen in terms of for me. The relationships that I've had with this particular group of students goes all the way back to kindergarten. I remember Francisco back as a kindergartner at Linwood Elementary. I remember him in 4th grade at Chuck E. Cheese talking about the things he wanted to do in life. That's probably changed significantly if this type of situation takes place. I remember Shelby sitting in class, laughing and smiling. I remember at Park Rose turning around and seeing her behind us taking pictures of the game with Becky, my wife. And they're laughing and having a great time. I can't tell you how many times Micaiah has been to my house and eaten breakfast and waffles in the morning with Caleb. I remember Alexis last year and her family coming over and sitting around a fire in our backyard after the loss of a very dear friend. And I got to be honest with you, this is devastating to me. Alcohol and drugs destroy relationships. There's nothing more devastating than this right here. Devastating to them, devastating to their families, devastating to their friends. And over the years, I've seen too many of these. One is too many. Seven years ago, I had my sister passed away with a brain tumor. Her daughter, Kirsten, had a hard time dealing with it. And at the time, she had what I would call some toxic friends. Toxic friends are those that when they see somebody in trouble, they think about how they can take advantage of it. Kirsten had received some money from some very generous people wanting to help her out. Kirsten had a home that she was now in by herself. She had time on her hands. She had just graduated from high school. She was getting ready to go to college. Those plans had changed. And she was on her own. Toxic friends looked at it and said, how can we take advantage of it? They said, let's party. And party they did. They said, that's fun. Let's medicate the sorrow. Let's medicate the pain. And let's take advantage and let's have some fun ourselves. But the fun doesn't take care of the problem. It makes it worse. Toxic friends. It's interesting what happens with toxic friends. They're the ones that think it's funny that as you get drunk, as these things happen, and you end up in the middle of the living room throwing up and sitting in your own barf, they think it's funny. They're around when the disasters happen. They're willing to laugh. They're willing to take you to the edge of a cliff and drop you off. But they're not there to pick up and clean up the damage. Some of you have toxic friends. Some of you are a toxic friend.
You stand up and get the firefighter.
It's time to make some decisions in terms of your life. Kirsten got to the point where she ended up in a hospital. We just about lost her. She tried to take her own life. See, alcohol can kill you this way. It can also just kill your relationships. It can kill all sense of purpose that you have for your life. Only two things count: the quality of your relationships and are you living with some kind of purpose? Does your life have meaning? Alcohol and drugs will steal both of those. You don't have to be in a car accident for them to have that effect. Guess where all the toxic friends were after Kirsten ended up in the hospital? Gone. The fun had stopped. Toxic friends don't hang around when the fun stops. They're gone. At that time, some other friends, those friends that give life, the friends that are life-giving, that give life and live it more abundantly, came to Kirsten. They said, we forgive everything that's happened. We love you in spite of what has happened. We love you through the pain. Some people that had gone away to college. Some friends and some family that stepped in and said, it's got to stop. We're going to get you some help. We don't care where you've been. We care where you're going. People that give purpose. People that develop and build relationships. What's nice about that now is Kirsten, with these friends that she had and these family that she had, her life got turned around. She decided to make some decisions. She decided to put purpose in her life where she decided to be somebody that went out and took care of those people that suffered what she went through. I'm very proud of that young lady today, 7 years down the road, where she's giving her life to help people. It's interesting, Becky and I earlier, it was hard to actually take a look out here and see the relationships that were destroyed with this type of an event. It's been hard to watch some of the relationships we've seen that have been hurt because of alcohol and drugs in our lives. I'd like to challenge all of you today, all of you that I know here today, all of you that I don't know today, to make a decision to what kind of a friend you're going to be. Are you going to allow alcohol or drugs to take the life of people that you love and know, whether it's through a car accident or whether it's through just bad decision making? Go out today and make a decision to be that kind of a friend that stands up for those people that you love. Be the kind of a friend that gives life as opposed to takes it away. Make the decision today. Challenge yourself today. Change the lives around you today. Make a difference. When everything is said and done, the only two things that will matter are what are the quality of the relationships that you have. Who were you as a father? Who were you as a son? Who were you as a friend? As a teacher, a brother, a sister, whoever. And does your life have some sort of meaning or purpose? There's nothing deep and purposeful about using drugs or alcohol. There is purpose in building up the lives of those people that you love, those people that are around you, those people who are hurting. Thank you.
One more person, Jill Spencer. I'd like to share a story with you here real quick.
Hi there. I'm sure most of you know me. I'm from your community. I have a question for you guys to think of first. What would happen to the most important person in your life if a decision you made or somebody else did took the life of that person? My daughter, Lexi Spencer, was going into her junior year at Clackamas High School. She had put her purse around her shoulder, told me she needed to bring some friends home, and she'd be right back. A few hours go by,